Hi, I'm Tara Lynn of Geek Saga Entertainment, here with my co-host Manny for the Geek Saga Show series, The Media That Made Us. This series focuses on media that the two of us consumed in our younger or maybe even just slightly younger years, media that helped shape our current interests and that we still love.
So I'm Manny, and for our sixth Media That Made Us episode, we're continuing our coverage of the reimagined Battlestar Galactica series and discussing the TV movie Razor, which, despite airing between seasons 3 and 4, pretty much sits between season 2, episodes 17 and 18, timeline wise.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, when I was trying to figure out where to place this after we realized like we couldn't place it in our Pegasus arc episode,
Mhm.
I everything that kept coming up was like this was a direct to DVD movie. That is
Mhm.
not the case. The actual Battlestar wiki, the official, well, I mean, I guess it's not official, but the whatever, the
Mhm.
main Battlestar wiki says this is a direct to DVD movie. It was not. What it was, it aired on TV and the
Mhm.
DVD for the movie was released like 4 days later or something.
Yep. Yep.
So I don't feel super awful about the fact that we're recording this ahead of time, unlike our usual Media That Made Us episodes. And we are going to release it on our usual like Wednesday day of the week at 8 p.m. Eastern. But I will be traveling the week that we would have actually done a live. And I will not have the capability to do a live show, like for sure not audio wise. Like I can't even talk to you about how bad my house in South Carolina is with audio. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with that once I move back there if I end up in that house for any extended period of time. Um but yeah, so we are pre-recording this, as you can see by how I look and what I'm wearing. If you're watching this as an episode, and Manny as well, we are recording this immediately after
Yes.
we recorded our Perfidy Arc episode, which was episode 5. Again, I am still sick. Please excuse the fact that if I'm like a little bit off timing wise or just like not totally on par, it's because I'm not feeling all that great and life is what it is. Before we get started, just a heads up that you can follow me and therefore all of the Geek Saga endeavors at a Geek Saga on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Twitter, and YouTube.
And you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Benissimo Art.
Last but hopefully not least, we hope that you'll check out the Geek Saga Entertainment Patreon. We have 10 tiers that range from $1 to $40 a month. It's a great way to support us and receive some great perks in return. You get early access to all of our podcast episodes, be they podcast versions of live episodes like these. Well, that's not even true. You're getting early. If you are a Patreon, you are getting early access to this not live episode that is airing at our usual live time. And
Yes.
you'll also get early access to the podcast version of this episode and also early access to all of our podcast only eps, plus some other, fun things. Check it out at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment.
Our format for these episodes includes our top 5 moments that made it, basically our hot takes from the portion of the series we're covering, followed by any insights we've uncovered from rewatches and or being longtime fans.
So, as I already kind of mentioned, we went back and forth a lot regarding where to place Razor in these episodes. But in the end, I am glad we decided to let it stand on its own because it was hard to narrow down just these top 5 moments for it. And we begin with a discovery of Gina's. It's like a murder of crows,
Yes.
but a discovery of Gina's. Shaw shooting 6 in the firefight, or shooting A6 in the firefight, and then rushing to reveal that not only do Cylons look like humans now, but also Gina is one of them. And Kane Kane is like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, Kane has
Yeah.
already just been anti-Shaw. And
Yeah.
and we've already discussed in previous episodes the fact that Shaw did not, like, they're retconning Shaw as a character.
Mm.
But this was very. It also like why was that six there in all white? Just
I don't know why they sent like literally they are they're like people, so they can't take a beating like the way the centurions do. So
I mean, they
why
know
would
they're
you?
getting resurrected, but
Yeah, but still, what a mess, you know? Like, man, I gotta go get shot and then I gotta go back to the resurrection thing. Like, it must be a pretty pleasurable experience for how you guys are so willing to do it all the time. What would have been fucking hilarious is that Shaw runs to the fucking CIC and is like, "You would not believe this." And then, but she busts into a conversation with Gina, telling Kane, "Oh my gosh, keep my eyes out for my twin sister. I'm so worried about her." Shaw's gonna be like, oh yeah, sorry, she got it. Centurion's got her." Man, that sucks.
I yeah, I mean, I guess like my only like conclusion is that they were so sure that they would win this firefight that they were like, yeah, whatever, we'll send in our humanoid Cylons. But like, girl is like, she's in like a white like dress suit. Like, this
Yeah,
is
dude,
like,
you would think that they would at least, arm them or something, give them something like,
I
yeah.
don't even, if not arm them, like, I don't know. It was just like, again, it was so, I, I don't, obviously they had to show the
Mhm.
very obvious reason how they knew that Gina and Inivier, I can't remember how they pronounce her last
Oh,
name,
yeah, I can't
was
remember
a
her either.
Cylon. But
Yep.
like, this just seems very, uh, why is she all in white? Like, I
Look,
just,
and it's not only that, it's like, why don't you just bring a different Cylon? Because if you guys happen to not succeed, you
they
know what I'm
have to
saying?
know, like, they know, even if Gina doesn't know she's a Cylon on the ship, which she does, but like, even
Yeah.
if she was like a sleeper agent, they know she's
They would have to
there.
know. It's like, "Oh, we can't blow this person's cover," like, but,
Send a
they didn't care about
Sharon
that.
for Christ's
Yeah.
sake, like, or
Send
what
someone else.
I can't even remember what number she is, but like send literally any other, a
Mhm.
Leoben, fucking, well, we can't meet Deanna yet,
Yeah.
but you
But
know.
send somebody else there. They're like, "No, no, no, let's put this one here because don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure there's no cameras all over that ship." It wasn't even like she had to get shot for it to show up. It just had to be like the security guy being like, "Hey, wait a minute. What the fuck is Gina's twin sister doing there?"
I mean,
Like,
obviously they're not watching the security cameras during this giant firefight, but like,
but they would have to be though. If the ship is getting boarded, they would have to know exactly where the
true,
Cylons are
yeah.
and where they're moving, right? I mean, they would have to. And some guy was asleep for that one, or the cameras just weren't that great. That they're just like, I don't know, looks like a girl. I mean, the haircut looks totally different, so it can't be the same person,
She's
Like,
got platinum blonde hair, not
yeah,
dirty blonde hair.
exactly.
Like,
Oh, you know what it
listen.
is, but you know what it is, though, right? I'm gonna tell you what it is.
The glasses.
It's the glasses because Gina wears glasses, and then they're like, wait a
Sometimes,
minute.
sometimes, not
Sometimes,
all the time.
not all the time, but she's like,
She
"No, it can't
and
be the
she
same one."
also wears, like,
Yeah,
worker bee clothes. Like,
yeah,
oh, this, like, shorter hair, platinum blonde with the worker bee, like, as if I literally have not been both hair colors and also worn.
yeah. But somebody would have to have been like, "Hey, dude, look, either there's another Gina on here, or Gina had a midlife crisis because she went completely platinum blonde. She cut her hair, and that jacket she's wearing, I swear, it looks like Prada or something because that is not your typical salary person who works here's kind of jacket, Like,
Oh my god, that is a random thing we forgot to talk about in the last episode. It's the fucking clothes.
dude, dude, yeah.
We'll get into it
Oh,
eventually, but just FYI, Manny and I, like, when I first started rewatching the episodes, the BSG season 2 episodes for our episode 5 coverage, the first episode is like Roslyn, on Caprica, and I was like, what the fuck is up with her like weird jacket? And like then she takes it off. It just everything about and the doctor that she sees, the lapel of his doctor's coat is like pleather. Like,
yep,
stop trying.
yeah, dude.
Stop trying to make it different. Like, Six's clothes, also Head Six's clothes are I hate her clothes. But anyway, um,
Really? You hate her clothes? You've never mentioned that before. That's
no,
kind of
no,
you, isn't it?
never.
No, never. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay. But like, okay, so I have to ask, uh, or no, wait, that's not that one. So are we done with the discovery of Gina's? I think.
Yeah, there wasn't much to that one. It was just, hey, it's like, the three
Why
Spider-Mans
are you
pointing at
this
each other,
dumb?
like, hey,
Yeah.
you're me, I'm you. Hey, wait a minute. Shoot her. No, shoot me, like
Well, that goes into our second.
Our second top moment, as much as we hate what this leads to, is Kane's order that Gina Six be tortured. Look, we talked about the torture and its real world, connotations quite a bit in episode 4, but it really hits different in Razor. Outright hearing Kane, tell the torturer, pain, degradation, fear, shame. I really want you to test its limits. Be as creative as you feel you need to be. Like, how fucked up is that shit, dude? And that is not even it's
Yeah.
really a testimony to like Admiral Kane's personality, right? It's not because she's a Cylon. It's because she got tricked and she got fooled, right? Because she values loyalty above anything else. So she got hurt is what happened. And now she's gonna make, Gina fucking feel the pain, dude.
Yeah, but she makes loyalty dirty.
She makes it dirty. It's dirty loyalty. Exactly. It's fucking dirty loyalty. Because it's loyalty through fucking fear. It's not loyalty, because they're a great person. Everyone is loyal to Admiral Adama, right? Because he fucking deserves that fucking loyalty. He
Mhm.
absolutely deserves it. Admiral Kane gets it regardless. She doesn't even get fucking loyalty. She takes loyalty. There's a big fucking difference,
Insists upon it, enforces it.
enforces it. Exactly, dude.
How do we feel about Gina Six's reaction to this order? Because in my opinion, I would have expected her to like straighten up and face it with a sort of bland, like, do your best assholes sort of
Mm-hmm.
like expression. Uh just based on what we had previously seen from Head Six and even from what was it, Shelley Godfrey.
Mm-hmm.
But she does in fact look scared.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the human reaction to hearing
Mm-hmm.
somebody say like, yeah, fuck it up.
Yeah.
But oh my God. Like, I don't know. Like I would have expected her to try to like steel herself, and she really doesn't. At least as far as I
No.
could tell.
No, she really just kind of gets scared and becomes the victim when the other Cylons really aren't, right? Like, try that shit with fucking Sharon, you know, and watch what fucking happens,
And they
right?
did.
And they fucking did, right? But she was more of like a fucking badass, when it comes to that. And you're right, compared to Shelly and like Head Six really is a different six. So we gotta
Yeah,
really
yeah.
think about that. She's really something completely different. But even with like fucking Shelly was more fucking tough about it and whatever. But yeah, so her reaction, it felt a little off, but I feel like it was the mechanism to kind of like show how bad these other people
Like
are.
she knew it was gonna be.
Yeah. Like, it's fucking bad, right, dude? And also, how do Cylons, like, I guess another question I would have to is how do they not self-terminate? I would assume that they would have something built into them that would like, even people that we send out as spies have fucking cyanide pills in their teeth or whatever the fuck so they can kill themselves so they don't get captured. So this was like a kind of a weird, but again, it's part of the TV, movie. We
Mhm.
just have to sit there and eat it. I can't reason too much with it. Let's not forget that they are in a big metal ship somewhere in fucking space. Okay,
And
so
also this whole movie is retconning like a bunch of stuff. And I'm not saying I dislike it. I don't. I Razor is fucking great. It is a beautiful piece of film,
it's
television,
good.
whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah. Mhm.
I just wish it hadn't retconned as much as it did.
I wish they didn't. Yeah, I wish they didn't bring in Shaw into it. Like, I liked her as a character. I
Oh,
liked
I
the
loved
actress.
her.
I thought she
Yeah.
was fantastic, but I was like, they really should have used her for future stuff, and like brought her in and kind of kept her on the show running moving forward as opposed to just the actual TV movie.
Hmm.
You know, um,
Interesting.
this is one of those things that I feel like, so it's no secret to people in my circle how much I hate Battlestar Galactica, the plan. I hate the fucking plan. I fucking hated that cash grab so much, right? Because there's certain things that I don't want to know, right? It's like, again, right, when we talked about when we do our House of the Dragon stuff, right? It's like I like leaving it to my own imagination,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is why I hated the plan so much. But this is one of those rare cases where I felt like them doing some of the backstories of little tidbits that we got, I feel like actually worked, where it was like, oh shit, that was fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I felt like they did good with this, but it definitely rode a line on there where I'm like, I don't know, but it was enjoyable and I did like it.
Well, next up, it's another we hate to include this, but moment. That being Shaw Fisk et al. Murdering the civilians. And this goes back. This doesn't not go back. This is part of the whole retconning thing
Mhm,
because okay, like this whole scene is just ugly. We already knew it happened, and I know why they had to show it,
mhm,
but still big icks. uh but again, as we've been talking about retconning, and as I mentioned in our fourth media that made us episode on the Pegasus arc, it was described differently by
yeah,
Fisk when he told Ty what happened. Like, again, granted, they retcon Shaw into the whole situation, so I don't know, fine, whatever, I guess, in a way, but still, like, the way I can't exactly. It's only been a couple weeks since we did that episode, but
yeah,
like I can't remember exactly how Fisk described it, but it certainly wasn't that they I think he said that they threatened them and then they like it was just like a mass murder or they put them up against a wall or something. But
mhm,
in Razor, Shaw just starts it by shooting a child
yeah,
first. A child.
a child, exactly, which is
And we're
fucked up.
supposed to and we're supposed to, like, feel for this character because, like, at first I was feeling for her, and I'll get into why in my insights later, but, like, at this point, no. No, girl,
Yep.
no.
And funny enough, it's like watching Razor is what made me really like Fisk, right? Because it was cool that they showed it, right? Like, and this is one of those instances where it's like I liked that they did this movie and that they showed this stuff because when Fisk is talking to Ty, it really gives you the feeling that, well, Fisk may just be full of shit. Like I don't think any of this stuff. Like they really did a good job, the actor who played him, that he really portrayed that as like, because then he laughs afterwards and you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
like, "Yo,
taking,
no, this didn't actually happen," but Ty totally, like, knows that it did, and I almost,
yeah,
I mean, I almost wondered in that moment in those episodes if Fisk was laughing because he was like, "Who's watching me right now?"
yeah, exactly.
Like,
So
I trust this guy, but
yeah, and the way see, and like what I liked about Fisk is like in the scene when in the past episode that we had done before when those other soldiers go in there and they beat the tar out of Hilo and the chief. Like the way Fisk walks in there was so authoritative, and he's just like, what rank are they? What rank are you? And the way he intimidates the shit out of these fucking people and kicks them out was like fucking it was awesome, and I loved that. And then you can kind of see where that in this episode where he's on that ship and he pulls his gun out, and he's just trying to intimidate. That's all he's doing. He's just trying to fucking intimidate. And then Shaw comes out of left field and just goes full fucking measure and just shoots a fucking child, and it's like, dude, like and I like that because you look at the look on his fucking face
yeah.
when
Oh,
she
yeah.
does that. He
This
was
just
in
brings
shock, you
this
know?
just brings back, like, from episode 5 when we
Mhm.
were the perfidy arc, Fisk was done fucking dirty
Yeah, he was done dirty. He was
with
fucking
his
done
death.
dirty.
Yeah.
'Cause he was a good fucking guy, man, and, like, you see the look on
Well,
his
I don't
face
know
where
about
it's
good, but he was certainly, like, not like, in terms of Battlestar Galactica, like,
yeah, he
he was on
wasn't
the lighter side of gray, okay?
yeah, exactly.
Like,
He was definitely gray, but out of all of the characters we've encountered here, like, he's not you know what I'm saying? You can tell he's just someone who's just been thrusted into this
if
bullshit,
you're
you
only
know?
comparing him to Pegasus characters,
I'm
he
only
is, like, white.
comparison that's how I'm looking at him
Pure
because
white.
the Pegasus, like I mentioned before, the Pegasus is fucking cursed. Okay. And anybody who came off of that ship is fucking cursed. Like that's just how it is. So yeah, compare it to him amongst those people. Yeah, absolutely. He was the white knight of the fucking Pegasus.
Oh my god, okay. Well, we're this one is gonna be a short one, but also our last 2, top moments, I think, are the most involved. So, number
Yeah.
4.
Shaw taking part in that horrible situation pretty much leads right into the decision that is our fourth top moment. One that's inclusion shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Shaw's sacrifice.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't have been surprising that Shaw as a character, as we talked about in episode 4, doesn't even go here.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't even go here.
I mean, wasn't even talked about in the Pegasus episodes. And who also, as we just talked about, did some really shitty things, refuses to let Starbuck of all people be the one to sacrifice herself, to die in
Mhm.
order to destroy this base star full of Cylon science experiments. I
I don't know
like,
why they just couldn't just plant the bomb there and just leave,
yeah,
but
it
I
feels
guess
right
they
because like there was that whole thing between Lee and like between Apollo and Adama, where Adama was like, "I'm gonna let you handle this," and he was like, "Wait, no, belay your order. You can't just destroy it.
Yeah.
There's people on there," and then they get back in contact with Starbuck and everybody who has infiltrated this base star, and they still have the nuke and everything, and it's like, wait a minute. So Adama, like, Lee could have destroyed that base star from afar.
Yep.
And Adama was like, belay that order. I don't want to sacrifice any more people. We might get into this more in like our general like thoughts about the insights on this episode, but like,
Mhm.
so wait. wait a second. Wait, why did Shaw? I mean, we know why Shaw needed to sacrifice herself. Okay, like she could not.
Logistically, yes.
Logistically, she could not continue. Like
No.
logistically, this girl could not have continued on in
No.
the fleet. But at the same time, it's like if they can destroy it from afar, when they still have people on it,
Why yeah.
maybe we missed something entirely, and there's like some sort of weird timing thing.
It's possible.
Oh, I think that's like really. I don't know if we're being nitpicky or if like they're being nitpicky.
Look, it doesn't make any sense. It's like,
No,
no, we can just shoot it from just come back and we'll just shoot miss. No. I have to do this. It's like she's just going full fucking like main character for a minute, like no. I have to do it. I have to sacrifice myself.
I mean, yes,
Yeah.
Shaw has to have main character energy in Razor because this is the only thing she
It's the only thing she's gonna do. Yeah, we got to give her that at least. Like, okay, look, man, just take it because you're dead
And
soon.
listen, this sounds like we're shitting on Shaw or on Razor, and I'm not.
No,
I'm really
Razor was good.
not. I just think it was a really weird fucking thing where Apollo was like, I'm a destroy this base star from afar, and Adama is like, we have people on there, belay that order. Even after he was like, oh, this is your command. I'm
Yep.
gonna destroy this base star, even though we have people on there. Adama,
Mhm.
no, don't destroy this base star. I'm not willing to sacrifice people yet. Apollo, fuck. you told me I was in charge. And then
Yep.
like it comes down to it, and when it comes down to like the decision of like, oh well, they're still alive. They got in contact with us. They're still alive. They have the nuke. And Adama's like, oh yeah, it's your decision again.
Yeah.
It's so fucking it's very I don't like it, and especially it makes no sense. If Lee could have Apollo could have destroyed the base star from afar, why couldn't they have brought everyone back and
Yep.
then destroyed the base star from afar?
Yep. Yep.
Oh my god. I hate it. I hate it so much. It makes no sense.
No, it makes zero sense. I didn't look. But
But
look,
also,
at that point, Shaw killed a kid. So as far as I was
yeah.
concerned, I was like, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, do it. Go ahead. Just do
Yeah.
it. Just yeah,
She
do it.
she needed to
Starbuck, yeah,
go.
exactly. Starbuck, you can come back, right? You can come back because you didn't kill a kid. You can come back. But Shaw, you got to stay and you have to die because you killed a kid. Sorry.
I mean, even beyond that, it's like if somebody's gonna have to stay, it's certainly not gonna be Starbuck. Like
No.
Shaw had main character energy for this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
She was a she didn't even exist on the Pegasus previously. I like Razor. I think it shows a lot of great things. I actually have some insights that I want to get into on this, but
This is
anyway,
okay. So before we move on, this is the thing that I didn't like about Shaw, right? Is that Battlestar Galactica did a great job on having these kind of secondary characters that nobody paid attention to become something later, right? To where it's like, oh no, now this person is this, right? Like, this person was like even gosh, who was it? There was like deckhands and stuff like that, like who worked with the chief, who eventually became bigger characters later on. It's like, why didn't you just use some rando who was in the Pegasus episodes and say, let's focus on this actor or this actress
yeah,
and let's use her as this, and it would have made it better, honestly. And not that I have
yeah.
a problem with the Shaw character, the actress, she was fantastic, but like I don't know, man. Just don't retcon, But I don't know. I have those will be my. I have other thoughts about it later on.
Oh yeah, you and I both do. But before we get into those, our final top moment from Razor is the hybrids pronouncements, of course. So I'm not gonna like recite all of the hybrids babblings,
Yeah.
but I do think it's important to note that they essentially prophesied the colonization of New Caprica and the failure of that colonization, the activation of 4 of the 5 Cylons, presumably the whole Starbuck and Leoben thing that happens on New Caprica, though some fans insist this prophecy was about Ty and Caprica 6. Again, I'm not going to get into wording. I actually asked Dean about this and he was like, no, it was definitely Starbuck and Leoben.
Yeah.
The alliance between the colonial fleet and the rebel Cylons, the
Mhm.
revelation that Ellen Ty is the last of the final 5 and her eventual redemption of sorts,
Mhm.
and the civil war among the Cylon models and their eventual arrival to Earth with Starbuck's help.
Yep.
But speaking of Starbuck, the hybrid outright telling Shaw that Kara Thrace is the harbinger of the apocalypse. But also, like, why and what the fuck? Like, why tell Shaw that when the Cylons then jam the comms before Shaw can relay that information to Apollo?
Yep.
Like, we all know it's well, we assume it's bullshit, but why tell Shaw that? And then she, in her like last moments, she tries to call Pegasus
And they jam
Galactica,
it.
whatever, and they jam
Yeah.
it, and it's like, aren't you
I
just you
I
could have sowed more discord there, like if you'd allowed that message to go through. I don't get it.
I think it's just because they knew that we were watching the movie, so they just told it for us, is what it was. They didn't want the people who are actually on the Battlestar Galactica to get spoiled by what happens later in the seasons. So they just let us know.
So it also could be that I guess Starbuck like seemingly dies in season 3,
Mhm.
and Razor, despite the timing of Razor being released, or no, I'm sorry, despite the timing of Razor being between, for the most part, between episodes 17 and 18 of season
Mhm.
2, it was not actually released until between the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4.
Which is really a weird place to put it because it's way after the fact at this point,
Yeah.
which is kind
Yeah.
of strange, you know? Like, I understand they wanted to focus on, like, the webisodes in between season 2 and season 3, which was fantastic. But, yeah, to put Razor all the way out there, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It was a fuck ton of retconning. And also, like, at that point, we already had seen Starbuck die and
Mhm.
come back. It's very weird. It's very weird
Well,
time.
it was almost like they were retconning their own prophecies, you know? And it's like kinda doing that stuff. Oh, well, somebody knew these kind of things or, like, whatever, and look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It's like the second these things started dropping prophecy, I just didn't care anymore. I was like, you know what?
I
I know Patrick will
I
hate
was
me
gonna say,
for it.
I wonder if Patrick has watched Battlestar.
I don't
For
know.
for
He would
anyone
love it.
watching or listening to this, Patrick is one of our regular guests on our House of the Dragon, our Hot Tea Take series, and Patrick loves some prophecies.
Yeah, my boy loves
He
some
would
prophecies, and
love these prophecies.
he would love them. He would love this show just for the prophecies, man. And I just these things started saying this stuff, and then it was just like, no. And it was dumb because I mean, you know what? We should just bring up the prophecies later at the end of the fucking series. So that way, that is when I can take a huge shit all over it as opposed to now.
I'm sure the prophecies will come up again. So now I'm just gonna talk about some insights that
Mhm.
we've gleaned from being longtime fans. But as I keep mentioning, while we're covering this show, I'm gonna refer to any Easter eggs or bloopers that I mention as Dean science, because my partner Dean knows far more about the series than I do. And won't stop pointing it out to me, which means I've long ago lost track of what I knew before him. Blah blah blah. The only one Dean had from Razor was, despite Aaron Douglas being credited, Chief isn't in Razor at all. What makes this extra odd is that they got a Cylon Raider onto the Galactica, and Chief just like wasn't there to examine it.
Yep. Yep.
Weird AF. All right, what's your first insight?
My first insight is this, and it has to do with, you know, when the Pegasus started stripping, these other ships, right? It was mentioned that they had lost how many people did they lose? Like 700 or something like that. They lost some astronomical
A
amount of
lot of
people.
people, yeah.
Yeah. So why not take some of these ships? Some of these ships didn't have a lot of people at all that they were taking, and it's like that they were stripping them. It's like, why leave them to die? Why don't you just bring them with you? They can serve some fucking purpose, even if you're worried about like what purpose they're going to serve, they can do something, man. And it's having more people. You can train them. You can train them to fight. You can train them to use your computer systems. You can train them to like do these things. But instead, it's just like, oh no, we're just gonna just fucking leave them here to die. And leaving them there to die, I'm sorry, it's just cowardly. Why don't you just put a bullet in their head like the way Shaw did that kid, and just fucking shoot the rest of them instead of leaving them there with no fucking shit. Why don't you take their oxygen machines too while you're at it? Just watch them fucking suffocate, Like, so that's like the point of where the decision making for like Admiral Kane was just like, you know what, dude? Like, this is where I felt it was kind of like a disconnect for
Disconnect,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, because it was like,
Thanks.
yeah. So because when they did her the first time, there was a lot of like I don't know, ambiguity or something to where you just kind of didn't know where she was coming from. But in this one, I'm just like, dude, you're just a straight up coward. Like, because if it would have been me, I'm not going to leave these people at the hands of the Cylons. Who knows what sounds are going to do to them. I mean, me personally, I would have just taken them with me. And if we got to put them all in a fucking cargo bay for right now until we figure it out, we'll put them all in a fucking cargo bay. We'll figure it out. It's better to have more fucking people, you know? But she's like, no, we're just going to strip them of their parts and just leave them there to die. It's like, well, why are you being a coward? Why don't you just kill them yourself? Just push everyone out the airlock or whatever. Like, don't be a coward. Like, if you're gonna be a monster, be a fucking monster,
Mm.
but don't do these things, like, and just like leave them there. But again, the reasoning there just didn't make sense to me. You could always bring them on board,
Yeah.
and have them do something.
I mean, like you said, they lost so many people. And while the children might not be able to help with certain things, it's like,
They can
all
do
these
something.
other people could do something, and you can train them to do something. Look at how many pilots they trained on
Hmm.
Battlestar Galactica that came from like nothing,
Exactly.
essentially.
Yeah, they came from nothing and they became something, and they became great pilots. Everyone that they had trained became great fucking pilots.
Well,
It's like
maybe not everyone. Some of them just died.
some of them just died. Okay, the ones that survived became great pilots, but at least they tell you, look, you want to make an omelet, right? You want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, right? you know.
All right. So my first insight is not as deep and dark as yours. Um, Shaw, when she first meets Gina, points out that Gina's last name, it's like Inivier, I think,
Mhm.
is Old Geminese for resurrection. How on the nose. But
Uh,
also, I gotta say this in the closed captions, it said Old Germany's.
old Germany's.
It's like, wait, what? Like I went back and I played the thing, and it was because Shaw has that like New Zealand, the actress has that New Zealand accent. And
Yep.
I was like, Old Germany's. Wait, how
Old
do they have
Germany's.
Germany in this series?
It's like,
Oh
what?
no, wait, it's just because the caption, the closed captioners didn't understand that she was saying Old Gemini. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm sorry. It was hilarious.
No, that was good though. That was good. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
gosh.
Old
Okay, okay,
Germany's.
okay.
What does old Germany's sound like? you know?
Old
You know?
Germany's is like Germanic languages.
Germanic lamb. Yeah, like wow. It's like,
We're
no,
all
I
from
don't
Earth.
yeah. exactly.
Okay, okay. What's your next insight?
okay. So again, going back to the dark, I guess, like, do they not do psych evaluations in the fleet? Because I'm pretty sure they do that for like, people in the upper
They
management
absolutely
areas,
do.
yeah.
They do that
So
for the military.
they do it
I'm
for
pretty
like
sure.
fucking, yeah.
I don't
And
think they do it for cops, but
no,
ACAB.
yeah,
So
they probably should, but they don't. But Kane clearly has some monsters. Like, look, I'm pretty good about sitting in front of somebody and talking to them for 5 minutes and be able to get a good read on them. With Admiral Kane, it probably took me about 5 seconds. And I was like, oh no, this girl is nuts. Like, she is fucking crazy, I can tell you. Nobody else saw that, So when she's ordering people to line other people on the bulkheads and shoot them, or shoots her XO because she doesn't, and everyone's surprised, I'd be like, all right, did
how
that
did she
surprise you
even
guys?
get to be an admiral of one of the newest, biggest battle stars?
Yeah, exactly. There has to be some type of balance between fucking, okay, I'm a rough and tough badass, or just, hey, I'm a good fucking leader. and she wasn't a good leader. Let's face it, in the end, she just wasn't. She was
No.
just, yeah, she was a tough as nails, person. Absolutely. And she knew how to survive. Sure. But she knew how to survive on the backs of others, not for the sake of actual, like, fucking survival, you know?
Yeah.
So she just, she does some things that I get, that I'm like, sure, you strip the ships, right? Like, strip the ships because you need to do it. You're the last remaining Battlestar, but let's leave the people there. That's where I'm like, no, nope. And she really loves to pull that fucking trigger, dude. It's like wartime, so she is literally like six shooting, like fucking double fucking six shooters, just pow, pow, pow. Who else doesn't want to obey my? Did you flush the toilet? Did you put the toilet seat down? Pow, 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 pow. And like, she's making room where all these civilians could have come in, right? Because she's just sitting there killing her bridge crew or doing whatever, and he's just, oh no,
When
no, we're gonna leave them there.
however many hundreds of people on her ship already died.
Exactly, and it's like, how many did she kill now, and how many did the Cylon kill? Like, is she in a competition now? She's just that stubborn. She's like, well, I'm gonna be in a competition. No one's gonna kill more people of my crew than the Cylons are. I'm gonna do it.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is like sort of like in a way a little bit piggybacking on that, but when the first attack happens.
Mm-hmm.
And Shaw is like there's an explosion in the side of the ship, and Shaw is like clearly fucking concussed, bleeding from her head. And Kane comes around and smacks Shaw upside the head when she's laying there, clearly concussed after being tossed around by this explosion.
Yep.
Yet then, like, Hoshi, whoever the fuck Hoshi was, one of her main people, he's
Yeah.
like clearly face down dead on the ground. She's like, yo, Hoshi. She just like nudges him
Yeah.
with her hand, but she's smacking this clearly concussed woman around. And it's like, girl, have you never, like, do you know nothing about medicine? Like, she's bleeding from her head. Probably don't smack her around and be like, get up. And then, like, the dead guy on the floor, you're like, are you okay? Are you okay, dude?
Yeah. Oh
What the
no,
fuck is
Hoshi.
happening there? Everything about that scene was like, I actually did watch Razor with Dean, and he and I were both just like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, clearly concussed, smacks upside the head, clearly dead. Are
Oh
you okay?
no. Yeah, like really, she should have been over Hoshi, like smacking him and be like, "Get up, you little bitch! Put your fucking big boy pants on. It's time to get to work." You know, and he just slumps
Become
his body
undead.
over the fucking CIC, like, "Here you go, man. Come on, touch those buttons. Let's do this. Let's kill some more bridge people. Let's keep going." You know, like,
Oh my god, it was so bad. It was so dumb. Like, and also, like, how do you not have enough knowledge to know that somebody who has been like affected viscerally by an explosion and is bleeding from the head should not, I don't know, be smacked in the head?
yep,
No wonder Shaw fucking shot those people. It's because
of
she got
course,
smacked. Okay, that's
exactly, dude.
listen, let's not make excuses for Shaw.
I'm not gonna make
I
excuses.
say it, I say the thing, and then I'm like, no, I'm not making excuses for it.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, wait. So your last thing actually is way later in the episode. So I'm just gonna go through my
Mhm.
last two insights. First of all, there's no discussion needed. 99 bottles of ambrosia on the wall simply does not work. This is
Doesn't work.
from in Razor, it's from the current timeline. I think it's Starbuck that's like 99 bottles of ambrosia on the wall. And I'm like, 99 bottles of ambrosia. No,
No, it doesn't
it
work.
has to be one syllable.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have beer in this universe?
Yeah, dude, like, no one has beer, like, come on, bro, you know?
Or something that you could say that's not three syllable, that's one syllable. I don't know. Whatever. It was dumb. I was like, no, this is a dumb, like, stop trying to make
Yeah.
real world shit happen in Battlestar.
Yeah, exactly. Stop trying to make fetch happen with that one because it's not happening, dude.
My last insight, and this is a very fucking personal one for me.
Mhm.
Wow, 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 wow. I don't care that she was like a preteen. Kane leaving her sister behind when running from the Centurions in the first
Mhm.
Cylon War. I would never. Like, I literally, when I was like, granted, I was older, I was like 25 or 20, I think I was 25. I literally almost drowned trying to save my sister from a riptide.
Yeah.
Uh, I would like, and that is something that is like a literal, like, you a riptide is something you cannot help,
You
right?
can't help. Yep.
All I was doing is like, I know how to deal with a riptide because I was trained as a lifeguard. So I'm going to swim parallel to the shore and drag my sister, who is
Mhm.
way less fit than I am, like, along the shore until like I can get her to the shore. But like, we still almost drowned. I
Yeah.
would not, I would have never, ever, ever been able to let go of her.
No.
Okay. Like, no, my life would have been over. You know what I mean? Like, my life would have been over. I would have never forgiven myself for that. And Kane in this Helena Kane in this flashback is old enough. She's like 12 or something. Like she just runs away from, she's like, come on, come on, come on. You are old enough and big enough. Pick up your little sister and bring her with you. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck? Like,
And you know what?
No. Ooh.
Look. And the thing is here is
I have
that
so much anger about this.
Yeah, no, and I get that. Look, it's like this would make sense for her character if Razor wasn't about the shit that it was and Admiral Kane wasn't the way she was, right? If Admiral Kane was more like, no, we never leave anyone behind. We're taking everyone with us, right? Then it would have been like, okay, so she made a mistake when she was young and now she's like kind of paying penance for it as she gets older. And now she's like, no, yeah, we need the parts for the ship, but everyone is coming with us. There's always going to be, we're never leaving one fucking person behind. I don't care if it's one fucking person. And maybe she puts the Pegasus at risk to save one fucking person, just like the Galactica did. Maybe they do those. Then to me, that arc would make fucking sense. But to me, I saw that and I was like, okay, so you're ready to leave your sister there. So instead of doing the natural evolution of like, okay, well, this is who I am now. She's like, oh no, actually it worked great for me. So now I'm just going to leave everybody behind. You know, like that's great. If I can leave my sister behind, shit, I can leave a stranger behind, or we can shoot another kid in the face. Who fucking cares? Right. Like, and again, this is just one of those things that I wish they didn't include into it because it took away from the Admiral Kane character.
I felt like they were trying to make us feel bad for her, but instead it made me feel like, no,
like it made me hate her because it was like, oh, this is even worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe, you know, maybe if she was the one who was left behind, then she was just damaged and that's why she does the things here. Okay, that works.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's like, you know, I had no choice but to leave her behind and I feel so guilty that now everything I do is saving everyone possible. And maybe the people around her are like, hey, we can't save everyone. And she's like, no, fuck you, and shoots that guy in the face. We're saving everybody except for that guy who I just shot in the face, you know, but we're saving everybody else, you know, like then it would fucking make sense. But there was like no character development between when she was 12 to where she is now. Come on, dude.
Well, and also, again, like, I can't, even as a child, like, I can't imagine a version of myself that would ever leave. I mean, probably anybody behind, but certainly not my fucking sister. And she's like, come on. And then just runs away. Like,
yeah,
I don't feel bad for her. She is a fucking terrible person from like point A to point Z. Terrible fucking person. Good riddance.
And like I said, look, in situations, everybody reacts differently, right? Everybody has a different like reactionary thing. It just would have made more sense if who her character was in the Pegasus episodes and in Razor was completely different in the sense that she just wasn't willing to leave everyone behind. She's like, I froze when I was a kid and I still live with it and I regret it to this day because I lost like my sister. So I'm never leaving another person behind.
Somehow.
It does the opposite, you know?
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so now she's just out fucking just whatever. We're just gonna leave people to fucking die. We're gonna leave them, you know.
It's just her life now. That's just what she does. Blech.
Yeah.
All right, your last insight.
So my last insight was the hybrids, right? When they first kind of hit the scene, I wasn't totally crazy about it because I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, no, it kind of makes sense because clearly they've been trying to join, you know, their race with the human race for a long time. And, you know, clearly it's like, you know, I mean, open apart, you know, a fucking radio from fucking 1980 and then open a part of radio from today, right? Like there's going to be some analog weird shit going on, which is what was going on with, you know, these like hybrids, which I thought was interesting, you know, and you can see it towards like, okay, well, it makes sense in the whole scheme of things because that clearly didn't work. So what are they doing? Now they're trying to get the Cylons and humans to have babies. I'm like, okay, well, that clearly works because we saw that work, you know? So, okay, that's the next step in their evolution. Hey, great, dude. But again, when they start saying some weird ass fucking shit and they start talking some prophecy shit, your boy just shuts off, Patrick loves it. I don't, and I'm just like, nah, I can't fucking do this shit, right, dude? Because we just spent all this fucking time on the show with the stupid opera house prophecy. And then when you see the way that turns up, we'll just talk about it when we get there. Literally, again, with the fucking prophecies that we fucking wasted time on,
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like I get the hybrids being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes total sense. It's disgusting, and I hate what they do to humans to try to make it work. I hate everything about it, but also it makes sense because they were trying to merge like
Mm-hmm.
their technology with an actual human body, and they clearly figured out something else
Mm-hmm.
at this point. But yeah, it's and also the hybrids, like the fact that they're just like, there's some in there that are just kind of like whatever, and then there's some
Mm-hmm.
that are like sentient,
Yeah.
and they're all just, there was so much pain and like nastiness that went into this, and oof. We'll get into things that happen later.
Yeah. But they
But
do a
for
good job of that, right? Because even when you see like the hybrids for the first time, you see that stuff, you get that same feeling of when you went to that farm, right?
yep,
You see, like it was that
yep.
same sensation, when you watched it, it was that that same ick. So yeah, they definitely knew what they were doing with that shit.
Well, yeah, this is the early version of the
Mm-hmm.
farm. And
Yep.
then the farm, so this is version I guess like 1.0. The
Yeah.
farm is version 2.0. What
Mm-hmm.
happens with Hilo and Sharon is version 3.0. And I
Yep.
guess in a way, Ty and Caprica 6 later, also version 3.0. Or
Yep.
maybe that's version 4.0. I don't know. But
Yep.
oh, yeah. I just yeah. 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 There's a lot of, and also like we mentioned earlier, the prophecies is a lot of bunch of fucking dirty shit. Like,
Oh,
oh, we're gonna prophesy this and this and this and this and this, but then we're gonna be like, Kara Thrace is the harbinger of the apocalypse. But guess what? We're not gonna let you relay that information to the fleet. It makes us
exactly. Exactly. It's like I'm going to tell you the entire plan, and then I'm not going to let you say anything, and then we're just going to blow up. You'll just blow up the ship because you don't have any other choice. You ride left. So that's what's happening, and it's like we just. Well, why are you doing this? Because we want the viewers to still really be entranced into this show, And it's like, look, we already are. We're going to watch it till the end. You
well,
don't
yeah,
got to do shit
especially
like
since
this.
Razor actually aired between season 3 and season 4, even though it took place between
Hmm.
episodes 17 and 18 of the show.
There was just things
So
like I
much
think when with those TV movies, man, it's like they're just trying to fill in the blanks that they just kind of lightly told for us. And maybe it was a cash grab, maybe it was just to like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like you guys didn't have to do that stuff,
I mean, I don't think that Razor was so much a crash crash grab.
Crash
I
grab,
don't think Razor was so
crash
much a
gab, crash gab,
crash grab, crash grab.
crash gab.
I don't think Razor was so much a cash grab because it did air on TV, but like
It did, yeah, it did.
still, like I because I came into this so late, I didn't know that Razor actually. I assumed Razor because like, and also even like researching these episodes to for our discussion,
Hmm.
I everything well, first of all, I saw, and this is not AI, this is the actual Battlestar wiki, was like, Razor was a straight to DVD movie. And Team was like, no, it wasn't. I watched that live with like Richard Hatch and people. And I was like, okay, brag a little bit
Hmm.
more, Dean.
Yeah.
but, but like, then I like looked it up, and it like even though it is spaced between episodes 17 and 18, like timeline wise, it didn't
Mhm.
air till after the end of season 3. Like,
It's a
it's just
weird
very,
placement. Yeah.
yeah.
Very weird placement to, like, put
When
it
most
in.
of those prophecies had already come true.
Exactly.
All right. Well, any last thoughts?
No.
All right. I'm gonna first, before I do our like regular outro, I have had this quote on my a geeksaga.com website for like 10 years or something.
Mhm.
And it is actually from Razor. It's from Kendra Shaw. You're born, you live, and you die. There are no do-overs, no second chances to make things right if you frack them up the first time. Not in this life anyway. Like I said, you make your choices and you live with them. And in the end, you are those choices.
That's good.
I mean, honestly, Kendra Shaw, great character. I
Great
wish it
character.
hadn't been a weirdly retcon thing.
Nope.
Uh,
She should have been a new character that they introduced sometime in season 3 maybe, or maybe even in season 2, and she should have wrote it out to the end, and I think she would have been a
yep.
good person to have there the entire fucking time.
I
But
mean,
they
certainly in our weird like perfidy arc episodes where we're just like, what the fuck is going on? This everything everywhere all at once with those episodes.
Yeah, exactly,
Ugh,
exactly.
all right. As we close out the episode, just want to give a shout out to our heroes, to your patron, Tommy of the TKOK Podcast Network. Thank you so much for supporting us. And thank you for joining us for our 6th Media That Made Us episode on the BSG TV movie Razor. We will be back Wednesday, November 20th to cover the final 3 episodes of BSG Season 2. For the most current news and updates about the series, make sure to follow at a Geek Saga on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok Threads, Twitter, and YouTube. But also, please consider backing our Patreon at patreon.com/geeksaga_entertainment. End recording.